Okay. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Yeah, boss of YouTube, aka what's up, YouTube? How's it going? 6Foot here, bringing y'all today a very exciting video. I don't know if you can tell, like I'm pulling my shirt at this point, like bro. All right, so as it was foretold on October 22nd, the Crown Tundra DLC would be dropped for Pokemon Sword and Shield Generation 8. And now with everything being released, if you've been following Twitter, then you will know that certain things had already been leaked, like the stats of all the new Pokemon, which is what this video is going to be me going over, like not the returning Pokemon, but like the new Pokemon themselves, like the new Regi forms, the new legendary and Calyrex. I apologize if I mispronounced that. The two new horses, which if you don't know about that, then don't watch this video, or I guess I'll give like a little quick spoiler warning. And then the Galar forms of the 3 original legendary birds. And it's just, I'm so excited for this. So please guys, if you enjoy this, please help the channel out. I gotta pay my bills somehow. Make sure to outplay that YouTube algorithm. Leave a like, leave a comment. It's only a second of your time. Let me know which new Pokemon you are most excited for in the Crown Tundra DLC. So yeah, let's jump right into this because I'm so excited, man. I'm sorry, like it's been a very long time since I've been this excited for a like Pokemon related thing. Like I was excited for Isle of Armor, but like the fact that we're getting so many new Pokemon introduced in the Crown Tundra just has me like, oh, I want to do so much. So yeah, we're gonna be going over the returning mons and all that. Not returning mons, sorry, the new introduced mons. First off being the new Galar form of Articuno. As you can see here are its base stats: 90 HP, 85 attack, 85 defense, 125 special attack, 100 defense, and 95 speed, which is really not that bad, honestly, especially with boots being very common in this generation of Pokemon. All the birds are definitely going to be having boots as a potential item or just a moveset viability in general. So yeah, psychic, flying is a very good typing coverage, but looking at the moveset here, honestly, there's not really too much that Articuno necessarily learns that it can really take advantage of. Like sub could be kind of nice. Like the big thing I realized, and I'm just gonna say this right now, is that all 3 of the birds, all 3 of the Galar birds do not get access to Roost, which is actually really important, because if they had access to Roost, they would definitely be more viable in whichever form of metagame they would have been in. Now don't get me wrong though, like base 95 speed with the base 125 special attack is still very viable. It does have really good bulk and 90 HP, 85 defense, and 100 speed def. So yeah, this probably isn't going to be OU. Honestly, now that I think about it, yeah, probably most of the birds, or like all the birds, really aren't going to be viable in the OU tier. If anything, they're going to be UU, potentially like RU more than likely. But yeah, as you can see from its move pool here, its coverage also is really not that great. Like it gets nice stabs, but it does get access to recover, which is really nice, honestly, especially for Galarian Articuno here, because that does kind of make up for it not getting access to Roost. Let's see if hopefully the other 2 birds potentially get some type of recovery as well. But yeah, I can definitely see this thing being at least UU or potentially RUBL. Like its coverage, again, really not that great, but in draft league format it could definitely be a bit of a nuisance, especially with it being able to have momentum in the form of U-turn. Air slash is nice for flinches if you can outrun certain things, and it does get access to dual screens, which is also very handy. So yeah, Articuno could definitely be a bit of a threat here. So let's hop into Galarian Zapdos, which I've heard a lot of people really like Galarian Zapdos, and I'm not gonna lie, its design is very cool. I can definitely not knock it. It's not personally my favorite of the birds, but it's very awesome. Base 90 HP, 125 physical attack, 90 phys def and speed def, 85 special attack, and base 100 speed. This is some really good forms of stat spreads, because base 100 is always a solid speed tier to have, with it having access to U-turn. As you can see here, it can gain momentum. Unfortunately though, unlike Articuno, it doesn't get access to recover, and as I mentioned, other birds do not get access to Roost. So that does kind of suck. But with it being base 100 and having a very scary stat move in Thunderous Kick, which if I'm not mistaken, Thunderous Kick does always lower your defense by 1, so it's much like Last Shout from Cinder Scorch, where you can just keep spamming it, and it is a fighting type move if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that is a little bit terrifying, I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, the downside of it not having a form of recover outside of rest is a little bit annoying, but with boots, this thing does have some decent bulk. Base 100 is always really nice, is always a really nice speed tier. Bulk up plus agility could definitely be a set, or just agility 3 attacks or bulk up 3 attacks. It's also really not that bad either. U-turn for momentum is really nice. Low kick is also really nice against certain like heavy Pokemon. Close combat even in itself could maybe have some benefits over something like Thunderous Kick. If you just want to do that extra damage, although currently we don't know the damage output of Thunderous Kick, but I would assume that close combat does more damage instantly than Thunderous Kick. So yeah, that is definitely an option. So while this can definitely be a more speedy offensive threat, I could see this maybe being in the OU tier. It could also definitely just hop down to U, as I had mentioned. But Articuno and Zapdos both definitely could be viable in the Draft League format, which is what I've mainly been playing. I have been dabbling back again in Smogon, but I definitely see Galar Articuno a little bit better in Draft League format than Galar Zapdos. So moving on to our final of the 3 birds here is honestly my favorite, and that is Galar Moltres, man. Galar Moltres' design is just so awesome, and really its ability as well, Berserk, is kind of an insane ability. Now, if I'm not mistaken, it does only activate if you take damage and you get lowered below half HP, so you can't switch into rocks, be brought down to 75%, and then switch back in and be brought down to 49%, and then the ability activates. So I think it only activates by damage, which is still really good because you can still run boots on this Moltres. And if you look at its defenses, base 90 HP, 90 defense, and 125 speed def, that is definitely going to be able to tank certain hits for sure. Base 90 speed, 100 special attack, and 85 attack are also not necessarily that bad. Obviously, this more than likely will be more of a special attacker, but if you look at its move pool, it's really not that bad. I really do wish it had access to potentially a fire type move, although I guess steel types don't resist dark type moves. But between having access to something like maybe flamethrower or something like dark pulse, then that little extra bit of damage could make a bit of a difference. It does get access to Nasty Plot, which is really nice. That can definitely make this a potential scary offensive sweeper, along with maybe like agility, like maybe sub Nasty Plot, or even just like agility 3 attacks would be kind of scary to deal with. But it's kind of in the same boat of Zapdos, where it's like it doesn't get access to a really good recovery move. Like, it doesn't get Roost. I mean, I guess you can run Protect Leftovers or like Rest Chesto Berry, but the fact that Galar Articuno gets access to Recover is really beneficial to it, honestly. So yeah, I personally really love the design of Galar Moltres, and I really do want to use it in a potential draft, but I can definitely see this maybe being like RU if it really came down to it. So yeah, let's hop into our next one here. So before we get into Calyrex, apologize if I mispronounced that. Apparently it turns out from this data here that we got that was leaked, Tapu Koko doesn't get access to Play Rough or Rising Voltage, which is a little bit unfortunate, honestly. Like, Tapu Koko definitely would have liked a very nice physical form of Fairy Stab. Tapu Bulu does not get access to Grassy Glide, but I think it still gets access to a Play Rough, which I guess is better than nothing. And then Tapu Lele does not get access to Expanding Force. So yeah, whatever those leaks were before were unfortunately correct. But right now, let's look at Calyrex. Yeah, I want to say that's how you pronounce this. I apologize if I got that wrong. So yeah, as you can see, Calyrex's stats are base. No, hold on. Oh, sorry. That was the wrong one. My bad. So we have a Calyrex here, which is the original Calyrex, which is base 100 HP and then 80 all across its rest of its stats, which I'm not gonna lie is really, really disappointing. Like, this is kind of a worse Celebi because it's also Psychic Grass, and if you look at its move pool, it's really not that good, honestly. Like, the fact that this doesn't even get access to something like Earth Power, as where Celebi does get it, is kind of bad, because even though, yeah, Hidden Power is out of the game, this is not really able to do much damage to any of its typical counters. Like, Giga Drain isn't that bad, I guess. Leech Seed is nice for some type of recovery, like Stab, Future Sight. Yeah, that's okay. But yeah, I honestly don't really have much to say outside of the fact that this is just really disappointing. This kind of seems like a Psychic type Eldegoss, honestly. Like, it's a Grass type, and then it just has the Psychic typing added onto it. But before we get into, again, spoilers territory here if you haven't seen it before, before we get into its fusions, we're gonna jump into the individual horses real quick. So the first of the two horses is Glastrier, I want to say is how you pronounce it, and I'm not gonna lie, man, this thing is disgustingly bulky. 100 HP, 130 defense, 110 spadef, 145 attack is nasty, 65 special attack doesn't matter, but it only has a base 30 speed. So yeah, that is rather unfortunate. This also does not get a form of boosting its speed, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check here real quickly if you guys kind of get something that I'm missing. Yeah, unfortunately it can't boost its speed, and its ability gives it an attack boost, if I'm not mistaken, after it gets a KO, which is basically like Moxie, so that's not entirely too bad. Unfortunately though, as I mentioned, it doesn't get any way of boosting its speed, although this could definitely be very viable in potentially a Trick Room variant of team. Its coverage isn't that bad. Body Slam, Superpower, Close Combat, High Horsepower, Outrage, Bulldoze, freaking even Taunt could have some merit. Like, I definitely could see this being allowed in potential draft leagues. So yeah, let's move on to the Ghost Horse, which is called Spectrier. Again, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing any of this, which honestly I think this is going to be way better than the Ice Horse. Base 100 HP, 65 attack, 60 defense, 145 special attack, 80 spadef, 130 speed. This is disgusting. Its ability is basically a special Moxie. If you get a KO on something, you're able to boost your special attack. The only downside of this mon though is that if you see here, like, its coverage is really not that good. It gets Nasty Plot, which is disgusting, I'm not gonna lie. Like, Ghost Stab this generation is really, really amazing, but outside of that, its coverage is really just kind of bad. Like, I could definitely see this being at least like Yu, even though, yeah, its stats are really nice, its coverage is just abysmal, honestly. Like, Foul Play has merit, I guess. You could go like Sub Taunt potentially. I don't think it gets access to Disable, does it? Oh yeah, I guess Sub Disable could kind of work. If it had Toxic, I think if it had access to Toxic, it could be a little bit better. But yeah, its stats are insanely good, but just that its move pool is what really, really drags it down. I could definitely see this maybe being viable in certain draft leagues that are not Ubers. So yeah, a very interesting Pokemon. Unfortunately, it doesn't really do that much. So from here, we can get into our fusions of Calyrex and the horses here. So first off, we have the Ice Fusion with Calyrex, which is the Ice Horse plus Calyrex. Stats 100 attack, 165 physical attack, 150 defense, 85 special attack, 130 speed, and at least a base 50 speed. Okay, that's not entirely too bad, especially when you keep scrolling down here and you realize that this set has access to a Trick Room, which means with this being a Psychic Ice type, it can Trick Room up and it gets Stab on its Psychic moves and its signature Ice Stab coming from a base 165 base offensive move, base attack style, which is absolutely disgusting with Glacial Lance, because you already know this move is going to be doing definitely some huge type of damage. And then if you're like Trick Room Swords Dance, at that point it's basically good game, because base 150 defense, 130 spadef, 100 HP is nothing to scoff at. Like, its coverage is honestly not that bad either, because all you really need is like Ice Stab and access to some type of ground offensive move, whether it be Stomping Tantrum or Bulldoze, I suppose. And at that point, you're basically hitting just about everything besides like Rotom Wash for neutral or super effective damage. And then from there, if you're able to consistently boost your physical attack stat, then it's pretty much over, because you're going to be able to just steamroll at that point. And the crazy thing about too is that the Calyrex fusions, if I'm not mistaken, you're able to run Unnerve and the Ice Horse's ability, which gives you a +1 in your physical attack after you get a KO. So even if your opponent has a Resist Berry, it doesn't matter, because you're gonna break through that with Unnerve, and then once you knock them out, you gain a +1 in your physical attack. So yeah, that's kind of terrifying, I'm not gonna lie. But again, that only necessarily works in a Trick Room aspect, and at this point we don't know if this is forced to run the item that makes it fusion, or if it's able to run any random item essentially. So yeah, with that horse fusion being gone, let's jump into our second version of it, which is the ghost horse fusion of Calyrex being a psychic ghost type as opposed to a psychic ice type. And I think these basically have almost the same stats, except for the fact that the Ghost Calyrex has base 150 speed, 165 Fizz Def, 80 defense, 100 Spadef, and 100 HP, which honestly I definitely 100% think that the Ghost Calyrex is way more better than the Ice Horse version, or the Calyrex Ice version I should say, because Astral Barrage is instantly able to outspeed so many things, and it's able to instantly get a KO, giving you that special attack boost. And then from there, base 150 speed as it is already terrifying. Unfortunately though, much like the original version of the Ghost Horse, its coverage is really not that good, even with its addition of Calyrex, which again honestly did not have that good of a move pool either. But if your opponent's Ghost Resist are gone, or if their immunities are gone, or if the resist are weakened, I should have said, then yeah, this can definitely come in and honestly steamroll late game. I could definitely see like spec sets, scarf sets, like even sub, maybe even like bulky agility sets being very viable on this Pokemon especially. So yeah, I could see this maybe being allowed in certain draft leagues, or it could also be potentially banned. It still gets access to Nasty Plot and Calm Mind, which is very terrifying. I know you can't see them on the screen here. Sorry, my screen cut out at Uproar. But yeah, again, its coverage is really not that great. Like Leaf Storm, Grass Knot, Energy Ball, I guess are okay, but they're not really that great, honestly. So yeah, 2 more monsters to cover and we should be good here. So where is the okay, so first off we have a Regi Lecky here, which if these stats are true, 200 base speed, this thing is faster than Deoxys speed, which as far as I know and from what I've seen since I've been playing Pokemon the past almost 10 years, Deoxys speed has been the fastest Pokemon along with like Ninjask in the Pokemon tier. But now we have a Pokemon faster than that. Unfortunately though, Regi does not have a very good move pool, which is a very big downside. Like Rapid Spin is really cool. E-Speed is okay. Base 100 attack and special attack isn't the worst thing ever. Like Thunder Wave is always good, but it literally has no type of coverage whatsoever. And its ability is able to raise the damage output of electric type moves. So I could definitely see this being drafted alongside something like Pinsirchin or potentially Tapu Koko, which would be really cool. But then at that point, you got to kind of draft around things that just brutally beat down grass types and ground types and electric types even. So Regi Eleki, I guess how you say it, can do some damage. So yeah, although Regidrago, now Regidrago was my original favorite of the two Regis that I was very, very fond of, and it gets access to Dragon Dance. Now its stats may not be that amazing. Base 200 HP though, that is disgusting. First of all, that is absolutely insane. Now, even though it only has a base 100 attack, special attack, base 80 speed, and 50 defense and spadef, you can put basically all those HP EVs into its defenses or its speed, or split them up between defenses and speed and attack, and this thing more than likely will still be able to take any hit and always Dragon Dance at least once, maybe even twice. Now its coverage is a little bit better than our Regieleki, having access to Fire Fang and Thunder Fang. It does unfortunately not have access to any type of ground coverage, but I guess you have Fire Fang to hit those potential steel types. Outside of that though, its ability does boost the damage output of dragon type moves, which is pretty nice if you're able to just straight go for an outrage. So yeah, like Dragon Dance could be really, really nice in this. Honestly, I don't really know which one of Regidrago or Regieleki is going to be more viable in Draft League format. I feel like they both will be legal, but I don't really know which one might be better than the other, because they're both kind of lacking some type of reliable recovery. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know in the comment section below which one of your new Pokemon being introduced in the Crown Tundra DLC is your favorite. Let's make sure to outplay that YouTube algorithm. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe for some future Draft League content, including the Crown Tundra DLC Pokemon and a bunch more stuff. I will see you all next time. Later, everybody.
My brain and heart are both tied in the knot, and this hinders me from crying a lot. This causing me to show no emotion. But when I said I cared, I wasn't joking. But I guess it's too late for me to become broken. For now, I'm living with no more pain, tears, or hoping. I'm just coasting. Yeah, I said I'm coasting. No more pain, tears, and hoping.